Hello everyone, my name is Samita Garg from Electrical Engineering Department. I welcome you all in the class of Electric Drive. In Electric Drive, we will discuss today steady and the transient state. In earlier slides or presentation, this is part 2, we already discussed what is the stability conditions for the steady and the transient state and what is called steady state and the transient state. Now the criteria for the steady state and stability is for a decrease in the speed torque, the motor must exceeds the load torque, and for increase in speed the motor torque must be always less than the load torque. That means Tm should be less than LTL, and load torque results in the stable equilibrium point and the low torque result in an unstable situation. To check the stability at an operating point of the motor, if an increase in speed brings greater increase in load torque than the motor torque, the speed will tend to decrease and return to its original value. So, operating point will be stable point, else operating point will be an unstable point. An electric motor and drives operates, there is a generation of heat inside the motor. If we talk about the thermal model of the motor for heating and cooling, we know very well in the there will be a generation of heat inside the motor. The amount of heat generated inside the motor should be known as accurately as possible. That's why thermal modeling of the motor is necessary. The material of the motors and the shapes and the size of the motors are not unique, but the generation of heat does not alter very much depending on these characteristics. So, a simple thermal model of any type of motor can be obtained assuming it to be a homogeneous body or uniform type of body. The main aim of this modeling is to choose the appropriate rating of the motor so that electric motor does not exceed its safe limit during the operation. At time t, let the motor has the following parameters like P1, this is equal to heat developed in joules per second or watts. P2 is equal to heat dissipated to the cooling medium in watts, and W is what? This is the weight of the active parts of the machine. H is equal to specific heat in joules per kilogram per degree Celsius. A is the cooling surface in meter square. Small d is the coefficient of the heat transfer in joules per second per meter square per degree Celsius, and theta is the mean temperature rise in degrees Celsius. Now, if time dt, let the temperature rise of the machine be d theta. Therefore, heat absorbed in the machine will be equal to what? This will be equal to heat generated inside the machine minus heat dissipated to the surrounding cooling of the machine, where d theta, this is what? This is the temperature rise of the machine. This will be equal to what? P1 dt minus P2 dt. Say this is equation number 1. Since P2 is equal to theta into dA, substituting this second in first, we get C d theta by dt. This will be equal to what? P1 minus d theta. Here C is called the thermal capacity of the machine in watts per degree Celsius, and D is the heat dissipation constant in watts per degree Celsius. So that when we acquire the first order differential equation, we get C d theta by dt is equal to P1 minus d theta. From this we find theta is equal to theta SS plus k e raised to the power minus t by tau where theta SS is equal to P1 by D and T is equals to C by D. Now we obtain the value of K by putting T is equal to 0 in the equation third and get the solution as theta is equal to theta SS 1 minus K e raised to the power minus T by tau plus theta 1 e raised to the power minus T by tau. So from the above equation we can find out the rise in temperature inside a working machine, which is very near to being accurate, and if we plot a graph for the variation of the temperature risk with time during heating and cooling, and thus the thermal modeling of the motor gets completed. Now electric motors are used, we always use electric motors, and to control them electric drives are also important, but the operating time of all the motors are not the same. Some of the motors run all the time and some of the motors runs time in shorter than the rest period. Depending on the concept of the motor duty class is introduced, and on the basis of this duty cycle of the motor can be divided in 8 categories. These 8 categories will be discussed in the new slide. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for listening me. Have a